What if the scariest castle you ever saw set out cocoa just for you, tucked you into a warm bed, and whispered, "Welcome, don't be afraid"? What if a single rose carried a promise so powerful it could change a whole family's fate? And what if the fiercest growl hid the gentlest heart, waiting for someone brave enough to listen? Tonight's story is quick as a wish and bright as fireworks. It's about a girl who chooses kindness when the world turns cold, a mysterious ring that can carry you home, and a promise kept that unlocks a miracle. Ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, a sensible merchant lived in comfort with his 6 children, 3 sons and 3 daughters. He loved them dearly and hired the finest teachers so each child could learn well. The daughters were all lovely, but the youngest shone with a quiet light that made people smile the moment they saw her. From the day she was born, neighbors called her Little Beauty, and as she grew into a radiant young woman, the name simply became Beauty. Her 2 elder sisters did not enjoy this. They liked fancy parties, glittering theaters, and people who bowed to their pride. Only a duke or an earl, they decided, will do. Beauty, meanwhile, found joy in stories of distant lands, in singing softly, and in the twinkling keys of the harpsichord. Suitors crowded their doorway. The older sisters turned away good, kind men because their sights were set too high. Beauty thanked those who admired her and said gently that she was too young and wished to stay with her father a while longer. Then, almost overnight, fortune flipped like a coin in the wind. The merchant lost his wealth. The grand house emptied until only a small country cottage remained, far from the city's glow. Tears burned in the merchant's eyes as he told his children the truth. The elder sisters stamped and raged. They refused to leave the city life they adored. But when the money vanished, so did the fluttering attention of their fine friends. People who had once praised them now mocked their pride. Beauty stepped forward, her voice steady. "We will go together," she said, "and I will help." She cried for a moment. It is brave to cry. But then she dried her eyes and began. Country life was no satin pillow. The father and sons worked the land with honest hands. Beauty rose with the dawn, sweeping, cooking, sewing, and making a cheerful place out of a humble home. At first, the work ached in her bones, but after 2 months, she felt stronger than ever. When chores were done, she read, she sang, and the harpsichord danced beneath her fingers. Her sisters spent their days sighing at windows. "I'm bored," one yawned. "Look at her scrubbing," the other smirked. Beauty simply whispered, "Tears won't bring back our fortune. I must learn to be happy without it." A quiet year passed. Then a letter fluttered in like a butterfly of hope. One of the merchant's ships, lost so long, had arrived safely. He would go to the city at once. "Bring me a crimson silk gown," demanded the eldest. "Ribbons and fine trinkets," said the second. Beauty asked for only one thing, a single rose, because none grew in their little valley. Her father smiled and promised. But the city did not smile back. Papers snarled like brambles, and the ship's goods slipped away to legal tangles. The merchant left poorer than before. Snow began to fall, then roar. The wind shoved and howled. Twice it knocked him from his horse. Wolves cried far off, and hunger nipped his heart. Just then, through dark trees, he spotted a glow. He followed it and found a palace lit from tower to step, hushed as a secret. No one came out, but the stable door swung wide. His tired horse found hay and comfort. Inside, a table glittered with a feast, and a single place set, as if a kind host had been waiting. Cold, soaked, and starving, the merchant whispered, "Thank you, Madam Fairy," and ate a little chicken and sipped a little wine. Upstairs, he discovered a cozy bed. He slept as if he had sailed across the stars. Morning brought fresh clothes and a cup of thick, warm chocolate. Through the window, oh, a garden, singing with flowers even under winter's breath. Grateful beyond words, the merchant prepared to leave. Then he remembered Beauty's simple wish. He walked into the garden and picked one perfect rose. A growl rustled the air like thunder turned soft. From behind a marble column stepped a figure large as a door and furred like the night. "Ungrateful man," said a deep, weary voice. "I offered shelter, food, and safety, and you pluck my very heart's flower. A life must answer for this theft." The merchant bowed, trembling. "Please, sir, the rose is for my youngest daughter, who asked for nothing else. I meant no harm." The beast looked at the rose, then at the snow. "I will not harm you today," he said, gentler now. "But a promise must be honored. Either you return in 3 months and keep your life's debt, or one of your daughters must come of her own free will to live here in your place. She must choose freely. Take a chest from my stores so your family will not starve, and go." The merchant rode home with a heavy heart and a chest filled with enough to ease their days. He told everything, especially to Beauty, and placed the rose in her hands. "Then I shall go," Beauty said quietly. Her brothers burned to fight the beast, but she shook her head. "No swords," she said. "A promise is a promise." Her father wept to hear her courage, but he saw the strength in her. In the morning, they returned to the palace together. The beast met them at the gates, as solemn as a winter tree. "Have you come of your own free will?" he asked. Beauty lifted her chin. "Yes." The beast nodded. He thanked the merchant for his love and said kindly that he must return at dawn and never come back, only send his gratitude. With tears and hugs and the warmest goodbyes, Beauty watched her father ride away. The castle was strange and quiet, like a book with all its pages yet to be read. Beauty let herself be sad for a time. Then she decided to be brave. She explored long halls until she found a polished door with her name written upon it. Inside, a bright chamber waited, a soft bed, a harpsichord gleaming like sunshine on water, and a library stacked high with wonder. On an open page, letters shimmered in gold. "Welcome, Beauty. Banish fear. You are queen and mistress here. Speak your wishes, speak your will. Swift obedience meets them still." "Please," she whispered, "show me my father." At once, a mirror bloomed to life, and there he was, safe at home. Her heart steadied. Every evening, a dinner appeared just for her. Invisible musicians played silent concerts that made the candles dance. At exactly 9, the Beast would join her, never late, never loud. "Do you find me very ugly?" he asked once, trying a small, shy smile. Beauty looked at him and said, "I see a heart that tries to be kind. That matters most." The Beast listened when she spoke, noticed little things, and never forgot them. Night after night, they talked of books, of stars, of a world that could be gentler than it was. Night after night, he asked the same question, soft as a sigh. "Beauty, will you marry me?" And every night she answered, just as softly, "I value you as my dear friend, but I am not ready." He only nodded and brought her a story she might like. Days brightened. Beauty began to laugh again. She realized she waited for 9 o'clock without meaning to. One afternoon she said, "Beast, I wish to see my father." The Beast's eyes were sad, but he smiled. "You may go for 1 week if you promise to return. Take this ring. Place it on your bedside table before you sleep when you wish to travel. It will carry you home, and it will bring you back." In a blink of morning, she awoke in her own little room. "Father!" she cried, and they held each other and thought the hug might never end. By magic, or kindness, the trunk of the finest gowns had followed her. She chose the simplest dress. Her sisters arrived with their husbands and stared at the sparkle she tried to hide. The eldest's husband was handsome, but more in love with mirrors than people. The second's husband made clever jokes that stung like nettles. The sisters, seeing Beauty blooming with happiness, wept and wondered. Then envy tiptoed in. "If we keep her longer," they whispered, "perhaps the Beast will be angry and punish her." So they tried a different kind of unkindness. They were very, very sweet. "Stay another week, dear sister," they pleaded, pressing her hands and dabbing their eyes. Beauty was moved. She stayed. But her heart felt heavy, as if the hours had grown too large. On the 10th night, she dreamed the garden's canal shining like a tear, and the Beast lying beside it, pale with sorrow. She woke with a cry. "What have I done? I gave my word." With no time to waste, she set the ring upon her bedside table, closed her eyes, and wished with all her might. She opened them to the familiar palace and ran room to room in her finest gown, her breath a prayer. 9 o'clock came and went, no Beast. Panic tumbled through her. She flew down the stairs, through the halls, and out to the moonlit garden. There, by the silver canal, she found him. Not bleeding, but so still and faint that even the wind held its breath. "Beast," she whispered, kneeling, "please wake up. Seeing you again lets me live," he murmured, barely awake. Tears warmed her cheeks. "Forgive me," she said. "I cannot live without your friendship, your kindness, your heart. I wish to be your companion, your wife, if you still want me." In that instant, the night lit up. Music rose like fireworks. Lanterns burst into stars. Beauty blinked, and when she looked again, a handsome prince stood where the Beast had been, his eyes the same faithful ones she knew. "A fairy's enchantment," he said, laughing and crying at once. "I was cursed to appear as a beast until someone loved me for who I was, for goodness over grandeur. Beauty, your kindness broke the spell." A graceful fairy stepped into the garden as if she had been painting the moon all along. With a wave of her hand, the merchant and the entire family appeared, wrapped in wonder. "Your courage and your goodness have led you here," the fairy said, blessing their hands. "Beauty will be a great queen without losing her kindness." She turned to the elder sisters, who shook and stared at their shoes. "Pride and envy can be untaught," the fairy added gently. "You will spend a little time as living statues in the rose garden, not stone of sorrow, but stillness for learning, until you can say with honest hearts, 'We were wrong, and we will do better.' When you are ready, you will be yourselves again." So Beauty married the prince, and the palace filled with music, laughter, and roses that never lost their fragrance. The merchant and the brothers found good work and warm rooms in the castle, and even the elder sisters, once they learned to bow to kindness, returned to family dinners with softer voices and brighter eyes. And if you ask anyone in that kingdom what love is, they will point to a shy smile at 9 o'clock, to a promise kept, and to a heart that chose goodness first. They lived happily for many years. Love looks past the glitter and listens for the truth. Beauty shows us that kindness and humility can carry you through storms, that promises matter, and that friendship can grow into the bravest kind of love. The Beast reminds us that how we treat others reveals who we really are, and that patience is a kind of magic all its own. For you listening tonight, remember this: your heart is your brightest lantern. Be gentle without being weak, be brave without being loud, and keep your word even when it's hard. The world changes when someone chooses kindness first, and that someone can be you. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so more friends can find these tales. Tell us in the comments where you're listening from and which story you'd love to hear next. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice of any kind.